her or figuring out what happened to her. But this was a case that was also tragic because of the death of her two sons at the hand of their dad, Josh Powell. And in that episode, I mentioned the podcast Cold that I found while researching Susan Powell and her asshole husband.
Yeah.
I still highly recommend that podcast to everybody, as well as, of course, our episode. Not nearly as in depth as Cold was able to do. He has over 19 episodes that are all about an hour long. Really just a wealth of information that he's been able to get that not everybody else had, access to the private things.
He's really done his homework and really dug deep on this.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you want a real, full, true account of their lives and just, getting a sense of who they were as people, that is definitely something to check out. I mean, of course, we covered it. I could not have spent as much time. I mean, our episode's a little over an hour, I think. So, if you go to YouTube, you can search it. It's just Cold Podcast, Susan Powell, and then it'll come up with all the episodes. And of course, wherever you're listening now, you can go back and catch our episode on it as well.
It still has the links there to all that stuff.
Yeah, it does. So just to kind of recap a little bit in what pertains to this update, in 2012, after Josh murdered his boys and committed suicide, Susan's parents, Chuck and Judy Cox, filed a wrongful death lawsuit against the State Department of Social and Health Services in Washington. So the claim was that the state failed to protect the children on a supervised visit to their father's house in Graham, Washington, which ended horrifically.
Oh, yeah.
The lawsuit actually was originally thrown out. I didn't know that. So it was originally thrown out in 2015.
Really?
And then Chuck and Judy Cox appealed, and that was overturned. It actually ended up back up in front of a judge and a jury.
Okay.
Then COVID-19 hit. And everything had just been at a standstill. So
grinding halt.
Yeah. That case resumed proceedings in July on the 16th of this year. So what's the update, you might be wondering?
Yes. What is the update?
Well, the jury just delivered a verdict yesterday on the 31st of July in favor of the Cox family, awarding the estates of the children, Charlie and Braden Powell, $98 million and finding the DSHS guilty of negligence in the matter. One report I even read mentioning negligence on the part of the social worker. Apparently, the state is looking into whether they will appeal the ruling or not. That's undetermined at this time.
But they how much did they win?
$98 million.
So justice kind of has been served?
Yeah. So
I mean, it was still a sad ending with the boys losing.
Well,
I mean, the boys and the father.
No, it absolutely is. And here's the thing. I absolutely feel that you cannot put a price on somebody's life.
Yeah. So
I do feel that I don't know how you would come up with a number. How do you, if you're, her parents, how do you come forth with a number?
Yeah.
And if you're the jury, how do you decide on that number? Like I would hope that there are some procedures in place for that, but I don't know what they are. And I just think it's an incredibly difficult situation to put an amount, a financial amount on this situation.
Yeah.
So I have very mixed feelings on this ruling. One, I listened to that call, that 911 call from that social worker.
Yeah.
Like 3 or 4 times. I listened to both of them. There's 2. The first one, the sheriff, Pierce County Sheriff, the dispatcher completely ignored her concerns and said, we can't get to you, basically. We cannot get to you. It's not an important matter. Call us back if something changes. So I don't know that you can place blame on her. The second call, it was too late. She already smelled the gasoline and then the house exploded. It was maybe even with the first call, it would have been too late for sheriffs to get there.
Yeah.
It might have. I don't know. Nobody will ever know because it was dismissed as not important. I mean, honestly, in my opinion, if there's anything that she can be accused of, it's that the kids got out of the car too fast and into Josh Powell's house faster than she was able to follow.
Yeah. Well, she should have been. Hindsight's always 20/20, but
right.
Her being the experienced social worker should have been more in control of that situation.
Yeah, and in that case, I would think that would mean her telling the kids, sit in the car, I will go knock on the door. I'm going to pull out any paperwork and, things that I need to bring with me, and I'm going to set them right here by the door. I'm going to let your dad know that we're here, and then I will come out and get you.
Yeah.
That to me would be a reasonable procedure for that. I don't know that she was trained that way.
No. And I'm wondering, too, if part of this lawsuit affects change like that.
Right. And is it that she was not trained to have that type of procedure in place? Because to be honest with you, now that I'm actually thinking of, the circumstances, knowing what we know now, like you said, 2020, but is it reasonable that somebody thinks like that? Unless you have been trained to think like that, or unless something has happened like this, where there's a case of how could this have been turned around?
Yeah.
So there's my first problem with it. So if she's liable, then the sheriff is liable. That dispatcher is liable. I'm sorry. You had a part in that. You dismissed her concern. You're liable. Yeah. Your job is to respond. You didn't respond. Not in time. The second thing is I feel like the judge should bear some of the responsibility. Josh Powell was under investigation. He was a suspect. He was the only suspect, person of interest in the disappearance of his wife. He should not have had visitation at his house, if at all, in my opinion.
It should have been at a neutral site.
So I don't understand how it's being placed on this social worker who was carrying out her duty when the other safeguards that we have as a society in place, a judge, a sheriff, authorities, failed.
Yeah.
And to me, the judge failed. That was a fail. And I understand that there are all sorts of numerous things to consider when you're looking at custody battles. And I don't know that I know the right thing. I'm not saying this is my opinion, obviously. I'm not saying I know exactly. But I don't understand if a person is under suspicion of murder or disappearance of the children's mother.
Yeah.
Why does he get custody?
At least wait till the case is cleared.
Right. Or at least, like you said, a neutral place. They have facilities. They could have met in a neutral place. And the other thing is, like we discussed, I do understand there's a huge amount of loss here. You cannot replace, number one, they've lost their daughter. Number two, they've lost their grandchildren.
Yeah.
And there is nothing that's going to replace that. The amount that they were awarded is a lot of money. I wonder, if they're using this as an opportunity to affect change.
Yes.
And help fund domestic violence, aid in communities. I hope that is the case. I truly do not. I guess I just simply don't trust people anymore. I guess I'm jaded because, people are very quick to, you owe me.
Yeah.
Like I was wronged and you owe me. Yes, you were. You absolutely were. But who's going to ultimately pay for this? It's taxpayers.
Yeah, taxpayers. But I'm hoping, like you, that this money goes towards affecting change in the world. Maybe some of it could be used to help find their daughter,
right?
Or even help, like you said, domestic violence or education,
right?
Or just anything that will make the world a better place.
Yeah.
There is enough loss that they've experienced that they should affect change.
I mean, I would hope so. And from everything that I, read on their interviews and everything, that they seem like they were not like money hungry.
Yeah.
And I do rightfully think that there is negligence on the part of multiple entities here in regards to Josh even having that visitation. I absolutely think that their lawsuit is well-founded.
Yeah.
It's sad to say that that was the first thing I think of is,
you don't think it was 98 million?
I don't know. But it's like I said, am I right to put an amount on it? I don't know. Is anybody?
Yeah.
I don't know. But $98 million for, people who are elderly, and Susan's not around. The kids are not around. I just hope that money can help them find ways to get closure, I guess. And hopefully it does mean that they can help affect some change.
And I don't know if they actually get that money right away, because, there's going to be an appeal.
Right.
So who knows if they actually pay it out or.
Right. No.
Until the appeal is done. But.
Right. They might not ever see that money.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. Yeah. They really might.
Yeah.
It's not an ending to the story, because she's still not ever been found. And there's
you said it. It was just an update.
Yeah. It's still heartbreaking. But there you have it. We're going to end this What the Fuck episode by saying thank you for hanging around the campfire with us.
Yes.
Yeah. I won't use that again. Okay, fine.
What? No, it's fine.
Okay. And you're kind of like poo-pooing on it.
I'm not poo-pooing on it.
Okay. So, catch up, re-listen to all the episodes we have on the website, www.whathappensinthewoods.com. Catch us on social media. We hope that everybody is staying safe during these times. It's weird out there. Please remember to be kind to one another. We're all going through it. Nobody is exempt from this shit.
No.
Please be kind and stay out of the damn woods.
Stay out of the woods.
All right, guys. Take care. We'll see you next week.
Bye.